Morning. Slept okay. The sleeping with the pad is okay. I don't think it's any better than sleeping without it. In fact, it might be a little bit more comfortable uh sleeping with just a hammock. Temperature wise, I was hot. I was hot. I had to take off one of my base layers to get comfortable. It did not get very cold last night. It's odd because I'm looking at the temperature on my phone for, Bluemont, which is the closest town, and it says it's freezing. But when I look at my Govee, it says it's like 45 degrees. So, which just, you know, feeling the air outside of, you know, my top quote, it definitely feels like it's probably closer to 45 degrees. Goey's not inside my tarp either. It's hanging outside off one of the straps close to the tree. So I believe it. Um, it is supposed to rain this morning, or 60% chance of rain this morning, starting at 7, which is about 30 minutes. So today's goal, I think, is the Whiskey Hollow shelter, which is 13.77, so basically 13.8 miles away. The next one is the Manassas Gap shelter, which I think is 18 and some change away. So I think I'm going to shoot for Whiskey and see how I feel when I get there. If I do go all the way to Manassas Gap, that means it's a 10-mile day tomorrow. And if I don't, then I would add another 5 miles to that for a 15-mile day. So we'll see what happens. So these things, I would say, would maybe a millisecond faster putting them up. But check this out. Taking them off. Done. This is a good spot to take my 5-mile break, right at the beginning of the roller coaster, the southern tip of the roller coaster. This section has always kicked my ass in the past, and wasn't that bad this time. I've got like 22 pounds on my back, and yeah. I've talked to other people who've come through here before, and some people say it's the short up and downs that really bother them. And right now with my knees, I feel like having a break from downhill regularly is helping. Plus I feel like this is a good place to get stronger.
you know, especially with the quads and the calves constantly having to, and anterior, tibialis anterior constantly having to deaccelerate you on the way down. So yeah, but I'd be really interested to hear what other people's feelings are on it. I know that when I did the Shenandoah section, which was about 108 miles, you know, it's up and down, but those up and downs are a lot longer. So some of the sections here are steep, but anyway, so there's that. So I'm gonna hang out here, do a couple stretches for a minute, and drink some water, and then get back out. Something I haven't shown a lot of is this. There's been a lot of blowdowns. I think because it's winter and there's not a lot of maintenance going on right now, but there has been a fair amount of this. I don't know if that video captures it, but I love these beech forests. There's just sections where there's a lot of beech trees. The unfortunate thing is that beech trees make a really good whiteboard, kind of permanent whiteboard. People love to carve in them because the initials or whatever last a really long time. Actually, I mean, there's some huge ones around here that, I mean, it's just tons and tons of writing over top of each other going back for years. Most of the trees seem to do okay, but then I've seen a couple where, I don't know, I assume it's because of the damage to the bark that eventually, you know, something gets in there and just takes hold. It's kind of unfortunate because these things can get so big and beautiful. Ricky, I don't give a who you love. Besides, that relationship's probably over by now anyway, Ricky. Give it up. Here's a fun one. I'm getting frustrated with my knee. It's hard not to. But there's no use in getting mad at my knee. There's no use in getting mad at the situation. I've only done like 13 something so far. It hasn't been that bad of a day, but yeah, my right knee is acting up a little bit. So I'm at the Whiskey Hollow shelter, which apparently used to be Dick's Dome or something like that. It's a beautiful shelter. I'll take some pictures of it. The next shelter was the one I really wanted to go to, and that's Manassas Gap. It's 4.5 miles away. And I'm going to have to put in these miles anyway. you know, I'm gonna have to finish. I gotta get to my car. So it's 2:45 now. I'm gonna give myself a little break, do some stretching, drink some water, and then I'm gonna keep going. I could feel this IT band is just so tight. So I might take my ball out and roll on that TFL for a little while and see if that helps me get through. Because if it's acting up, I'd rather have day 3 be a 10-mile day than a 15-mile day. So yeah. Just left Whiskey Hollow. Interesting reading all the graffiti. I wouldn't even call it graffiti. All the ramblings on the walls in there. Let's hear some more of that Rocky stuff. This happens a lot more than you'd think. You know, shout out to Flower Power. Yeah, I'm trying to give you some decent intel here. But I can't walk this and do this at the same time. So there's that. I just got to Manassas Gap Shelter. My right leg did much better after we had a little conversation. So that's cool. There's nowhere to hang around here. A lot of dead trees, a lot of underbrush. I'm gonna look around, see if there's sites, but tonight might be my first night staying in a shelter. So it's gonna happen eventually. Might as well be today, right? Yeah. So there's that.
So, shelter life so far. I thought I might be more comfortable laying, on a sleeping pad. And so far I'm not. There are some bugs in here. It's warm enough that there's a couple things flying around. So I don't have the protection of a bug net. There is some poop in the corners of this place. Some mouse turds and shit. So there's that. But it was bound to happen. I was bound to sleep in one of these. Other people have done it and they seem to be just fine. So there's that. Today was an interesting day. I don't know if I captured the rain very well today, but it rained for a good portion of the day, which made it really cold. When I got to my 10-mile break, I really wanted to stop and eat. I feel like nutrition has been a problem of mine. On other long hikes, I always bring like electrolytes and stuff, and none of these hikes I brought any of that stuff. I think I justified, or I think I was thinking because it's winter and I'm not sweating so much that I didn't need it. But I think on this trip I was thinking I did. There was one trip recently where I'd made a comment about dogging it one day, and today was one of those days where it took me a long time to get here. I know it was 18.3 miles, but the sun is setting later than when I started in December, so I had more time today, and I was just trudging, struggling. So yeah, today was interesting like that. I had some I'd say overall it was a good day. I mean, I'm out here doing this. Even a bad day out here is a good day, you know what I'm saying? But um yeah, so there's that. But there was some struggle today. There was some struggle today. And then I mentioned it earlier, there's a little bit of frustration with my legs, it's I'm putting an effort. When I'm out here, I'm foam rolling and shoving tennis balls in places they shouldn't go. And doing exercises and strengthening. And today was frustrating because I didn't do a lot yesterday, and early in the day, I experienced some pain. But when I took that long break at Whiskey Hollow, that really seemed to help. So I have a top quilt, and I know that for people that sleep use top quilts on pads, they have these straps. I might look into those just in case I have to do this regularly, because it's warm, it's working, but if I move or if it's up a little bit on one side, so I gotta constantly kind of tuck it in on myself. So I want to look into some of those straps maybe. It might be worth the extra weight to do that. Tomorrow, 10.3 miles to 522 to get my car. So it was a good trip. Hey, I'm starting to get tired, so I'm gonna try to um, edit a video real quick and post it. I want to thank everybody who's watching these. Um, you know, it's an interesting process. I'm definitely a lot more comfortable doing this now. I feel like, um, but the people that watch and subscribe, and you know, uh, and the people that are interacting and leaving comments, and it's great. I really appreciate it. It adds a little something extra to this, adventure. It really does. So thank you.